Okay, so welcome. We are on page 18, 1F. So if we remember for this week, we have been talking about people. That's been the theme for this week, people. And we've been going through some simple grammar, how to introduce ourselves, how to introduce possessive things that are ours. We looked at talking about professions, about other people, asking questions. What do people do? Where are they from? We looked at vocab for a family. So if you remember your brother, your sister, your niece and nephew and cousin and all that. Then we also looked at using in, when we talk about we're in a country or we're in a type of place. We looked at some everyday verbs like to have, to live, to speak, to use, to work. We then looked at writing, just a bit of introduction about ourselves and what we do. And that brings us 1F, World Party. So let me share the screen to where we are up to here, World Party. So I can see in the image, it says Chinese New Year in Singapore. Yeah. Chinese New Year in Singapore. So in your country, when do you have parties? And where are these parties? Are they at your home? Are they in a hall? Are they on the street? Are they street parties? What's very common? What kind of parties are common for your country? Colombia. On the street, yes. So it's very open. Hey, Mauricio, it's in the street. Lots of people, lots of food, right? Lots of music. It's very popular and common, yes. Peru, what kind of parties do you have in Peru? Are they more in the restaurants, in the streets? Yes? Carnavales and carnivals, yes. Yeah. And Brazil? Probably same, yes. I know, it's very well known in the street. And then, what about in Vietnam? Where are the parties? Are they on the streets or more in buildings? Like, more in buildings, yeah, I imagine. In ancient, maybe in buildings more. Okay. So in Australia, it's a bit of both. We have street parties, which are becoming very popular now, but we also have parties in people's homes. It's very common. Restaurants, for birthday parties, people will go to a restaurant. That's pretty common. Okay, so let's look at some key vocab on the next page. We have number 2. In the USA, so I'm right here in the USA, they use feet and miles. So we're talking about measurement here, not centimeters and kilometers like in Australia and the UK. So let's match some of these vocab. So if I said 1 foot, that is equal to 30 centimeters. So we can think of a ruler, that's 30 centimeters. Who's familiar with centimeters or who uses foot? Do you use foot in your measurement when you're measuring something or centimeters? I don't use foot. Centimeters, good. Okay, so you're very familiar. Yep. So that's what 1 foot equals, 30 centimeters. What about, we might need to Google some of this. What about 3 square feet? What's the same but in a different measurement? 3 square feet. E? I don't know. Let's Google. So 3 square feet. Sorry? It's 3 square feet. Okay, so 3 square feet is, yes, 3 by 3. Yes. But what does it equal in another measurement? Well, we can say 0.27. Which one? A, B, C, or A, B, D, E? E? Let's go with E. Okay, so 3E, I'll check it in a moment. 1 mile, I know is 1.6 kilometers. So 3D, 500 miles. B, 800 kilometers. And 1,500 miles. A, 2,400 kilometers. Okay, don't worry if you don't know. Remember, I mean, a lot of times we Google, what is 1 foot in centimeters. So if you ever want to Google some measurement because you're reading something and you have it in the American measurement and you want to know what is it in the Australian measurement, so I would just Google, for example, 1 foot to centimeters. So if I just Google that, because I have the American 1 foot, but I want to know how much centimeters, I write 2. And then it will just tell me 30 centimeters. So let's pronounce it because that's what we want. So this is 1 foot. Foot, the same spelling as your foot, 1 foot. 3 square feet. 3 square feet. So that was 3 square feet is C. Sorry, 3 square feet is E. 0 point, so we say 0.27. You don't say 0.27. You say the numbers separately, 0.27. So if it's under 1, we say 0.27, separate numbers. Square meters. 1 mile was 1.6 kilometers. 500 miles, 800 kilometers. 1,500, remember there's a comma. After 999, there's a comma. So 1,500 miles is 2,400 kilometers. Okay, let's watch a video. And in this video, we're going to number 1 to 8 with A to H. So we got lots of measurements here. I might play it 2 times. Let's see. Okay, ready to play?
How big is 7B? Don't keep from 1 to 7B. It takes 200 years. There are 7 billion stars. But from Earth, we can see 1,000 at night, not billions. Walk around the Earth 133 times, and that's 7 billion stars. People send 7 billion texts every 30 hours in the USA. That's 65,000 texts every second. It's 2 billion people. Everyone can come. Now on Earth, is there a place for a world party? Let's go and take a look. Actually, a place for 7 billion people isn't very big, can you? One person needs about 3 square feet. But it's a party, so everyone needs about 6 square feet. So for everyone in the world, that's 42 billion square feet, or 1,500 square miles. Where is a good place for this party? The general ice field in Alaska is the correct size, but it's a bit cold. Or there's the state of Rhode Island. It's 1,500 square miles. Polynesia, its islands are beautiful. And they are about 1,500 square miles. Oh, and for a photograph of 7 billion people with everyone next to each other, we need an area of 500 square miles. Yes. 7 billion people in 500 square miles. Los Angeles is 500 square miles, so we can take the photograph. You can take the photograph in any time. Smile.
Okay, I know that there was a lot of values in that. So don't worry, let's watch it again. Maybe let's read the sentences before we watch. So you got to find out how many number of years to count from 1 to 7 billion. What are the number of stars that you can see at night? What are the number of times around the Earth with 7 billion steps? What is the number of text messages in the USA every second? What is the area for one person to stand? What is the area for one person at a party? What is the area for 7 billion people at a party? And what is the area for 7 billion people in a photo? So the answers: 1,000, 6 square feet, 1,500 square miles, 3 square feet, 200, 133, 65,000, and 500 square miles. Let's watch again.
For 7 billion people in the world. But how big is 7 billion? For 7 billion, it takes 200 years. There are 7 billion stars. But from Earth, you can see 1,000 at night, not billions.
Yeah.
Walk around here 133 times, and that's 7 billion steps.
Alan needs, yeah. Yeah.
Oh no, another class.
65,000 times every second. Everyone can get. Where on earth is there a place for a world party? Let's go and take a look. Actually, a place for 7 billion people isn't very big, can you? One person needs about 3 square feet. Everyone in the world, 42 billion square feet, or 1,500 square miles. Where is a good place for this party? The general ice field in Alaska is the correct size, but it's a bit cold. Or it's the state of Rhode Island. It's 1,500 square miles. Polynesia, its islands are beautiful. And they are about 1,500 square miles. Oh, and for a photograph of 7 billion people with everyone next to each other, of 500 square miles. Yes, 7 billion people in 500 square miles. Los Angeles is 500 square miles, so we can take the photograph. Here comes the photographer. There we go. Smile.
Okay, how did you feel? Did you get all the information? Would you like to listen to it one more time?
One more.
Last time, yes? Okay, no worries. I know it's a lot of information. So let's pretty fast. I wish I could slow it down. I'll put the caption on. Let's see if that works.
7 billion. But how big is 7 billion? Don't count from 1
Thank
to
you.
7 billion.
Oh, thank you.
It takes 200 years. 7 billion stars. But from Earth, you can see 1,000 planets with no periods. Here, 133 times, and that's 7 billion steps. People send 7 billion texts every 30 hours in the USA. There are 65,000 texts every second. Everyone can come. Where on earth is there a place for a world party? Let's go and take a look. Actually, a place for 7 billion people isn't very big compared to here. One person needs about 3 square feet. But it's a party. Everyone needs about 6 square feet. So for everyone in the world, it's about 42 billion square feet, or 1,500 square miles. So where is a good place for this party? The Juneau ice field in Alaska is the correct size, but it's a bit cold. Or there's the state of Rhode Island. It's 1,500 square miles. What about French Polynesia? Its islands are beautiful, and they are about 1,500 square miles. Oh, and for a photograph of 7 billion people with everyone next to each other, we need an area of 500 square miles. Yes, 7 billion people in 500 square miles. Los Angeles is 500 square miles, so we can take the photograph there. Here comes the photographer in Ariel. Smile.
Okay. Well, we just have to find what we can. So what's the number of years to count from 1 to 7 billion? How long will it take to count from 1 to 7 billion? It will take 200 years. So E, 1E. Yeah. What is the number of stars you can see at night? Maybe number 2 should be A, 1,000. Is that what you said? 1,000. Yeah. So 1,000 stars you can see in the sky, 1,000. 2A. What is the number of times around the Earth with 7 billion steps? F? Yeah, 133. The number of text messages in the USA every second? G, 65,000. And the area for one person to stand?
The
3 square feet. So that's an interesting one because we don't use feet. Let's look up the conversion. So 3 square feet. Actually, that's in the above one. 3 square feet is 0.27 square meters. Yeah. The area for one person at a party, B, 6 square feet. And the area for 7 billion people at a party, 1,500 square miles. And the area for 7 billion people in a photo, H, 500 square miles. All right, one last time, watch the video and number the sentences in the correct order. So 1 to 7. Last time.
There are 7 billion people in the world. How big is 7 billion? There are 7 billion stars, but from Earth you can see 1,000 at night, not billions. Walk around the Earth 133 times, and that's 7 billion stars. People send 7 billion texts every 30 hours in the USA. That's 65,000 texts every second. What happening with so billion people? Everyone can come. But where on earth is there a place for a world party? Let's go and take a look. Actually, a place for 7 billion people isn't very big compared to here. One person needs about 3 square feet. But it's a party. Everyone needs about 6 square feet. So for everyone in the world, it's about 42 billion square feet, or 1,500 square miles. So where is a good place for this party? The general ice field in Alaska is the correct size, but it's a bit cold. Or there's the state of Rhode Island. It's 1,500 square miles. What about French Polynesia? Its islands are beautiful, and they are about 1,500 square miles. Oh, and for a photograph of 7 billion people with everyone next to each other, we need an area of 500 square miles. Yes, 7 billion people in 500 square miles. Los Angeles is 500 square miles, so we can take the photograph there. So,
Okay, so the first thing in the video, finish this. The song. Yes, don't worry. I'll play it after the break. Yeah. Okay, so don't worry. Okay, we'll finish it after. Okay, so what was the first thing? The stars. I've watched the video 3 times now. So I think we talked about the stars. What did they talk about afterward? The stars, number 1. Text messages. How many text messages are sent? Number E, 2. Then they talked about, sorry? Yeah, 2E. 1A, 2E. So the first thing, the stars, and then the text messages, and then how much space one person needs. So C, 3C. That's how much space one person needs. Like that's the space, 3 square feet. Number 4. So everybody in the world, yep, it continued, needs 6 square feet. So everyone needs about 6 square feet. So then it was about everyone. Then it went to the size of Alaska. G. 5G. And then it talked about the state of Rhode Island. So take note the H is silent, Rhode, the S is silent, island. So 6B. And the last one, he said smile. D. 7D. Okay, I know there was a lot of information in that video. Let's watch this clip and see the definition of what the words mean.
It takes 200 years.
What does count mean? To say numbers or to listen to numbers? Say numbers because you're 1, 2, 3, 4. Count. Just for one person? Thank you. Thank you.
Teacher, I don't like Alex.
Oh, you don't? Alexandria. Okay, no more. What does everybody mean? All people. Some people? No people? No. All people, everyone.
The general ice field in Alaska is the correct.
What does correct mean? That's right. Correct. Yeah. Incorrect is the opposite, and that means wrong. Incorrect. But right, correct. Right. About. If I said there are about this much, what would it mean? It's the closest number. So it would be B. About means around this number, the closest number around this number. So if I said it's almost 6:30, it's close to 6:30. Smile. I like the emoji. That's more like blushing. Yeah, that's a smile with a blush. What did you say? See. That's it. Okay, let's get into this part, interviewing everyone in your class. So I want you to make, just with the person next to you, because we've only got a few minutes, and write a short report about your class. Okay, so in this class, how many are in our class? So right now, how many people are in our class? What do we have? 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. No more. 1, 2, 3, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, including me. We can put 13. Yeah, because how many people? Didn't say how many students, said how many people. So 13. How many are male?
8.
8? Okay, 8. So yes, including Anderson, yes. How many are female? So 13 minus 8? 5. Let's do a bit of maths here. If we have 13 students, 13 people, and 8 of them are male, how many percent is that of male? Who's good at doing maths? I could do it with my calculator. Who knows? If we have 13 people and 8 are male, what's the percent? 61%? Okay, so 61%, because we're going to try and practice as much of the symbols, and we learnt percent earlier this week, remember? Percent. So that means how many percent are female? No? $58. 50. 3. Yeah? Okay. So 61 for females. And how much for male? But there's more males in the class. Yes, 62% are males. No, you were right the first time. Yeah, 62% males. And then females, 39. Now, how do you know? Because if the number after it is greater than 5, you make it up. So 38. Yeah, 38. 38. Okay, how many are under 20? I don't think anyone. So you can just put like a dash, a line. How many are over 20? 100%. Or everyone? 13. How many are students? 12. How many have a job? Who doesn't have a job? Because I think everybody works. So everybody works. Yeah. Okay, so we can say 13. 100%. Speak 2 or more languages. I guess everyone. Yeah. So 13 are from this country. 1, just me. Yep. Have a mobile phone. I think does anyone not have a mobile phone? I think everyone. 13. Okay, that was very basic, I know, but let's practice something a little bit like more different. Like what is the percent of the native people in your country? So if I look at Australia, let's use Australian as an example. So what is the percentage of native Aboriginals in Australia? Only 3.2%. And how do we say this number? So that is 812,000 people. That's 3.2% of the population. Let's look at the size of Australia. So what is the size of Australia? Who would like to say this one? We've done this before. We've done that measurement. 7 points or 7,688 million. It's got the squared kilometers, not squared meters, because there's a K. This is squared kilometers. Yep. That is the size of Australia. Let's look at the size of Colombia. Okay, I'm gonna get Mariana to say this one. Square kilometers, or what's that in square mile? Is that square miles? Yeah, square miles. So what's that in square miles? What's that? 4,000? 439,700 square miles. Let's go Brazil. And Bruno, what do we have here?
In Brazil.
8.
8 points.
Separate numbers. 8. When you say point, it becomes separate. The numbers. So 8.51 million square. Always say this one first. Square kilometers. Or how much is that in square miles? Good luck. 3 million? Thousand. 100. 597 square miles. So miles, be careful, it's MI, square miles. Okay. Vietnam. And only Van can read this one. Okay, Van, what is the area of Vietnam? This one here? Yeah. But you have to say how much.
This
300.
331,000.
90. Then you go say this one first. Square. So 2 means square kilometers. How much is that in miles? Just type it in just to make sure. In miles, how much is that? 1,000. We square miles. Any other? I think I've done Peru. Okay, Roxana, tell me. 1 point. I think 1 point. Yeah, 1 point. Yeah, million square kilometers. And in miles? 4,000. 498,000. 96,000. 200 square miles. grammar. Okay, so that's what we have. That finishes 1F. So that finishes 1F. So let's have a break. And when we come back after the break, we're going to do the unit and memory booster, that unit review, the last page for the unit. So let's have a break, half an hour. Okay, so welcome back after the break. As I said, we have finished Unit 1. So we're at the grammar review section, right at the end of the book. Before we get into the exercises, let's have a quick recap of what we did in this unit. So Unit 1, let's have a look at some recap. So we looked at using the verb to be. So just make the screen smaller. Okay, so maybe like that. So this is a grammar review. To be. To be and to have are two verbs that we use with the main verb. So when we say to be, you got to remember it's I, the subject, am, that comes from to be. You are, he, she, it is, we are, and they are. So we use this when we're talking about our age, our location, when we add an adjective, when we talk about a profession or job, when we say our name, our nationality, the time, the weather. So we started with the name, if you remember, in the profession earlier in the chapter. So it's like saying, I am Laila. So we know to be, am is are. That's how we use that verb, but the subject. So we start with the subject first. So you pick a subject, who's doing the action, I, and then you pick it to be. So I am. So that's what it's like. I am Laila. I am a teacher. I can say my age. I am from Australia. I am Australian. I can use a continuous verb. So I am teaching English. I can also add an emotive verb. So this is extra from the unit. I'm just giving you extra ways how to use this verb. An emotive verb is a verb that's not a doing action. It's more like a feeling action. So for example, I am happy. Happy is different to I am running, or I am speaking, or I am learning. So an emotive verb is just a feeling verb. So I am happy, I am tired, I'm exhausted, I am excited, I am frustrated, whatever. It's a feeling action rather than a doing action, a physical doing action. So that's how we use to be. You put the subject, and I've put all the different types of subject. Then you put to be, but you must change to be depending on if it's I, he, she, it. So that's why I put it like this. To be, and then plus whatever you want to say up here. So that's what it looks like. So subject, plus to be plus this information. If we want to make it a negative, like I want to say, I am not in Brazil. I am not 10 years old. I am not a doctor. Then we just add not. Or he is not, she is not. So same thing, subject, to be, and then not. You want to make a question, either you start with to be. So for example, am I Brazilian? Because it's a question. So I'm asking myself a question. Am I in Colombia? Am I tall? Am I dancing right now? Am I upset? So I'm asking myself a question. Or I can ask about someone else. Is she? Or is he? Or are we? Or are they? Make sure there's a question mark. That's how we make the question. That's the first way we can make a question. But the second way to make a question is by using the 6 W's. You've heard me talk about the 6 W's. What, why, when, where, who, which. Or there's a H, how. Earlier in the chapter, we asked, well, just in the last section, we asked how many people are in your class, because it's plural. How many? We asked so many questions before. How many languages? Or how old are you? Was another question. So that's how you can start your question. So make sure there's a question mark. It still has to be. So either you start with to be, or you put the 5 or the 6 W's first, or the how, and then you put the to be. So you have to follow that structure. Then we talked about contractions. We talked about we can connect the subject with to be. So instead of you are, it becomes your. Instead of I am, it becomes I'm. That's called a contraction form, like connected form. So instead of you are, it equals your. We can do that for all of the subject. I'm, your. Any questions with that? Pretty simple. Yes? Yeah. To be, statement, remember, or affirmative. In our textbook, they called it affirmative. I like to call it just a statement. Could be a true information, because it's a fact, something that's true. I am Laila. Negative and questions. To be. We can do this with all the tenses. So in the past, present, future. But this is in the present. So let me make that clear. It was the present simple that we looked at only, because we could do it in the past as well. Okay, let's get into some exercise, unless you have any questions with using to be, the weather. Be careful, because in your country, you might use to have instead of to be. Like, for example, in Australia, we say, I am 38 years old. Whereas in Spanish, you say, I have 38 years old. So I know for me, that sounds very strange, but for you, maybe it sounds very strange to say, I am 38 years old. But for me, it sounds strange to say, I have 38 years old. So it's just, you got to remember, we use to be. So don't depend on your language. Know the rules in English. I've written when we use it. If we're talking about nationality, you have to say I am. If I'm talking about the time, the weather, if I'm talking about an adjective, so remember an adjective describes something. I am tall, I'm whatever. Job or profession. So that's when we use it. Location, age. You can see there's so many ways to use it. Okay, so that's the rules. Continuous verb. Remember ing verbs and your emotive verbs, your feeling verbs. Okay, let's get into some exercises, I think, which is just from our textbook. So let's have a look. Write the words in order to make a question. So the first one, so to question, start with the 6 W's. So what? We've got a contraction, so we can connect the what to the is, so it becomes what's, yeah. And we read it the way it's written. So what's, we know that there's a subject. So the question, start with the 5W, then it's to be. So what is, and then it's the subject, your name. So what's, or it could be what is, but we want to use, like in the textbook, what's your name? Number 2, let's start from Melissa. So it's starting with the verb to be as a question. Number 2, 1, 2. Yeah. Yeah. Are you from England? Nicholas. 3.
Where are you?
Yeah, so it's using the 6 W's. Where, then it's using to be. Are you from? 4, Roxana.
Are you single or married?
Yeah, are you single or married? Good, very simple. Yeah, are you single or married? Yep, thank you. Number 2, we have to add either a contraction. So let's go back. We were just doing number 2. So the contraction form. Sorry.
Where's the one?
Ah, yes. Number 5. Are you a teacher? So we're asking about someone's job. So if you look at all of these, what's your name? We know we use to be when we talk about name. The second one is where are you from? That's the location. Where are you from? Again, location. Are you single or married? So that could be about marital status. That means, you know, if you're asking if someone's married, single, divorced, widowed. So I've added their marital status. So whenever you ask if someone is, yeah. And are you a teacher? That's asking about the profession. Marital status. So if I said, what is your, because we're using the verb to be, what is your marital status? It means, are you married, single, divorced, widowed? What? Like you tell me, what is your marital status? You can respond, I am married. I am single. Okay, so number 2, we have to either use the contracted form, the negative isn't. We have to use the we are or they are, or the negative aren't. They aren't, or we aren't. So conversation, A will be Nicholas, B will be Van, or Alan, sorry, Alan. So A, Nicholas, B, Alan.
What's his name?
What is his name? So with these little words, you have to make them stronger, or else it sounds like you said what his name. So what is, you see how I push these little words? Even if it said, sorry, Alan, let me share the screen. Even if it said what is, if it was whatever it was, I say what is. Okay, so what is his name, Alan? Can you speak? Are you able to speak? So Alan, so you're B.
B?
Yes, to B. His name?
His name is R. Philippe.
His name is
Philippe.
Philip.
Philip.
What is the name?
Mm-hmm. Camilla. So Alan, you've got to say number A, because you're number A. It's a conversation between A and B. So Nicholas is A and B is Alan. So we're up to Camilla. So I'll say it for Alan. Camilla.
From Mexico?
Yeah. Are they Mexico? So are they from Mexico? Alan? So Alan? Okay, instead of Alan?
Hi, teacher.
Yes. Okay. So no.
No, they are. They
Aren't.
aren't. Okay.
They aren't. Yeah, continue.
No, they aren't. They are from Brazil.
Yeah, but we have to say it the way it's written. So how could I say that? Not they are, because it's not separated. It's connected. It's a contracted form. So I say, not they are,
Aren't?
they're. They're from Brazil. Okay, Nicholas.
Okay.
What Yes, make it more stronger. What's or what's? I think what's because we don't have separate is. So what's? So even if it's contracted, connected, you've got to make it z. What's? So we can, if not, then it just sounds like you said what, and it sounds like you're speaking bad English. So what's? What's? What's?
What? What?
Yes. What's? Now there's another contracted form, so you got to do the same thing to the next word. So Nicholas, what's Felipe's Felipe's job? Felipe's. What's Felipe's job? Alan, he is like a buzzing bees. If you can,
He is a conservationist.
yes, he's a conservationist. Conservationist. Nicholas, is Camilla an explorer? And Alan?
No.
No.
No,
She
isn't.
isn't.
She is a conservationist too.
No, she.
Is.
No, she isn't.
And no, she isn't.
Yeah.
She is a
Yeah, she's a
she's
conservationist.
too.
Also, two, sorry. Two. Okay, good. Write a similar conversation about these two people from Unit 1. If you remember, they were husband and wife. We watched the video. I forgot their name, doesn't say here, but they were husband and wife. So what I want you to do is to pretend that we have husband and wife. We can use their real names. Is anyone good with names and remembers? Beverly and her husband Derek. Beverly and Derek. Do you remember that they work as, well, they have a couple of jobs. She's a photographer, she's a explorer and a filmmaker, and her husband is, he's also an explorer and filmmaker. So she just does the one extra. She just does the photography. So I want you to make up a conversation between them. So they're out in the wild. Do you remember they're from Africa? So remember, listen to, I talked about location. So I said they are from Africa. And I want you to pretend, imagine that they are out in the wild and a conversation between them. You can work in groups. We have enough time. So I'm going to give you some groups to work with. So you got to write a conversation, at least one page conversation. So something could happen. And there's a conversation between the husband and the wife. So these are the two characters. Okay, so we have Melissa and Alexandra. We have Nicholas and Conrado. We have Roxana and Mariana. We have Bruno and Mauricio. We have Van and Ojilon. We have Fernando. Let me switch it a little bit. Fernando and Alan and Anderson. I'll put you with Roxana, Mari, and Anderson. Okay, so that's your groups. So Fernando, you need to talk to Alan. I think, actually, did you work with him last time online? No, you didn't. I think Mauricio. Actually, I remember we've got one role play to do with Mauricio. Who was your teammate? Anderson yesterday.
Yeah.
I remember. I didn't. You were. Yes. So let's do that first. So was there only two, Mauricio and Alan? Alan. Are you ready, Alan, to do the role play from last? Can you do it? Yeah, I know. I have to go. Bye. Oh, look at the time. We say, oh, look at the time. It's getting late. I must go. Okay, so do you want to come do it before we do this exercise? So Mauricio, Anderson, and Alan, you've got a role play from yesterday. So you ready to come? Do you have the?
Hello. Yeah.
Okay, so let's do that first. So Alan, are you ready to do your role play? And then we'll get into our groups. So that's your groups. Okay, cool. So let's watch the role play first, and then we'll do the exercises.
Ahí hacemos por la mano. Sueño. Hi Anderson. Hi Alan.
Hi.
Are you going to talk today?
Yeah, of course.
Today is final of the Copa Libertadores. Great. What time should we be there?
Around 6 o'clock.
Each match is in Missouri, Corinthians versus Boca Juniors. For Boca Juniors. Okay, I'm for Corinthians. Yeah. How will you pay for the drink? Who?
Whoever's team loses.
Okay. Store goods. The deal is on.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
See ya.
We need to use.
Okay, so as you know, we were preparing some conversations between Beverly and her husband, Derek. So we got into groups and you've been preparing your conversations. Who would like to come and read out their conversation? Because we've got good timing, so we've got time. And you all wrote amazing conversations. So I'm glad. So let's hear a conversation about Beverly and Derek. If we remember, they were in Africa, and we made up situations. We made up a conversation. Okay, so let's see what you have. So,
Inicio. There. Look at with Reno.
Oh my God, I've never seen on before. I watch Reno. What do you do?
I will take pictures of it.
I mean, shall we protect ourselves? I'm outside. I'm afraid.
Don't know where afraid. Don't be afraid.
Okay, but take a photo and then we'll return to the hotel. Then we'll return to the hotel.
Okay, no of kids. Oh,
Be kids.
be kids.
Quit.
Be quick.
Why?
Be quick. Be
Why?
quiet. Be quiet.
yes.
Why? Why?
Okay, good. So the one thing I can tell you about the pronunciation is when you have a word that ends with an L or an N, you must say like will. L. If it ends in an N, like like in the afternoon, afternoon. So any word that ends in an L, M, or N, you have to make it more longer. So noon, will, she'll, you know? So make sure you stretch your sound longer. Okay, next group, next conversation between Derek and Beverly. Who would like to go next? Okay, so we have Van and Ojilon that are going to
Okay.
Okay, look at those animals.
What are they?
I don't know. That is get low.
Yes, let's see them.
Wow, it's a very big elephant.
How old do you think he is?
Oh, I think about it's 55 years old.
Very.
Yeah. Guess let's get him some water.
I'm afraid it's very ferocious. I'm afraid it looks ferocious, so we can't get close. Closer.
So yes, I agree. We should be careful.
Let's leave it alone.
Sorry. Better to be safe than sorry. So they said, let's leave it alone. The animal looks very ferocious and angry. Okay, who would like to go next with their role play? Melissa, and Alexandra. So, ready?
So, are you enjoying this experience? Hello?
Yeah.
Hello?
We switched that.
Okay. Are you enjoying this experience?
Yes, I am. It is so awesome. I am really happy here.
Yeah, it is so beautiful. There are so many animals. You know, I want to see the light. Let's go find them.
Look over there. I found them. They are so big. They are always together, like in small groups.
Can we give them some food?
I don't think so. Only where they
Milk?
I don't think so unless where their meal.
Their meal.
Yes, good.
Okay, thank you. So they spotted some lions and they said, should we feed them? And the husband said, no, I don't think that's a good idea unless we are their meal. So very good. Okay, next one we have Nicholas and Conrado. Okay.
Derek, oh look, that is plant. Yes, it really is so good. Yes, can you see any animals? Yes, there are lions, elephants, and yeah. Yes, you will show take a picture. Yes. You will take a picture. Yes, pass me my phone. And let's go closer. We must be there. Yes, we can use the news picture for whole documentation. Yes. Now, now we can go towards the mountains and take more pictures of the river, the river, and the
Yeah.
It's amazing. The water in the river is transparent and the fish are longer, longer. Large. Exactly. So we want. Yes.
Okay, good. So I love that conversation because there was a lot of should. So remember we talked about that when we ask for advice or when we give suggestions, you know, should we keep going? Should we take a photo? Should we, you know, continue? So yeah, very good. Okay, next one, Roxanne.
Hi, Daddy.
As the screen. Oh my God! Look at picture.
Yeah.
We can show it to all of them.
You know, there are only 27,000 rhinos in the world.
Rhino. Oh, really? Wow. Because we are not see now. go around 50 kilometers. 54 hours. Oh, look, is that pair of elephants? I don't know. So I can't see well because they are so far. They're completely get dangerous. I think they are heading forward.
I think they are heading towards us. Yeah, really good. So I like that one because it used heading towards us. If something is coming towards you, we say it is heading towards us. So that's very common in English to say that. At the same time, we can say, let's head to the beach. Let's go. It's another word to say go, head. H-E-A-D, like your head. Let's head to the beach. Okay? That's your new English word today. Let's head. Okay? So, okay. Everyone has done their conversations. That was great. It was a conversation about these two couples, Derek and his wife. Okay, so we have an excursion tomorrow.